allow me to address this notion that black people were cursed, or that God cursed black people. Um, as we have all noticed, the world is in an uproar right now. Corona hit us. Um, they say the second wave is coming, and we have the election coming up, and now there could be a race war. So we have a lot of things going on in our world today, and a lot of it is centered around, in the natural, a lot of it is centered around the black man or black people. So I just want to address a couple notions that God cursed black people. Let's go back to the beginning and see if we can't get some clarity. And this might ruffle a lot of feathers. So I'm going to reference the Bible. In the book of Genesis, there was a flood that destroyed the earth. There was a guy named Noah who walked righteously before God, and God spared him and his whole family, right? So they had this flood, and after the flood, Noah planted a vineyard, and he drank the grapes and got so lit that he passed out, drunk, naked. The most righteous man on the earth at that time did get drunk, and that's something the Bible never does, is hide the mistakes of its people. So one of his sons, Ham, came in and saw his dad drunk, passed out, naked, and he left his tent and he went and told his other brothers, and he scoffed at his father. So he went and told his other brothers. So his other two brothers came in, and they put a garment over their head, and then they walked in backwards so they wouldn't see their father drunk, and they put the garment over their father. They covered him. So when Noah woke up from his hangover, he got so upset that he cursed. He didn't curse Ham, but he cursed one of Ham's sons, Canaan. So he didn't curse Ham, the actual son that did it, or Ham's other sons, in which Ham did have other sons, because his brother named Cush, in the original Hebrew, Cush means black face or burnt one. So we know these were dark-skinned, dark-complexioned people. They were black people. God never told Noah to curse any of his sons. He did that on his own merit. He got upset, and to me, this is my synopsis of it. To me, he lost control. He lost control of the situation, and we can see how powerful words are. That he cursed one of his grandsons, which later on, I don't want to get into all that, but they turned out to be a disruptive people. But he didn't curse none of his other sons or none of their brothers. So the word says that he that doesn't have control over his own spirit is like a city broken down without walls. Now, the purpose of walls back then for a city was for protection. You needed walls back then, because if someone would come and try to invade your city, you had the walls for protection. Now, we won't get into all that stuff today about the walls today, but walls back then were very significant. If you don't have any walls, anything can get in and anything can get out. So if you don't have no control over your own spirit, just like the guy down in Detroit, in which them guys were in the restaurant and he killed about 3 or 4 people. I don't know what the bottom line was of why he did it, but they got it on camera, him killing 3 guys in the restaurant and possibly 4. Now they're all dead, and now he's gone for sure, probably for life. Now, was it worth it? Nothing's worth taking the lives of 3 or 4 people. Now, I don't know if they thought it was sweet or whatever, if they had got at him before that, but before the corona hit, I used to go in the prisons and talk to the inmates, and these are all guys doing 20, 30 years, 40 years in prison for violent crimes. And, when you get to talk to them by themselves, they will all say one thing. They will say, I lost control. I lost control. When I was younger, if I would have had somebody to, pull my coattail and, like a father figure, something to pull my coattail, say, hey, don't go that way. You know what I'm saying? There's a better way, and the number one thing that they would say was, I lost control. I lost control just for a split second. I lost control. If I would have had somebody to guide me in the right direction, or, a good role model, a lot of things would have been different. Yeah. So let's move on to the Tower of Babel, which I know a lot of you may have heard about it. And it was started by a guy named Nimrod. And Nimrod is Cush's son, who was, as we stated earlier, he was a dark-skinned guy. So they wanted to build a tower that reaches the heavens. And it was said that they wanted to build this tower because they heard about the flood that happened to the previous generations. And they wanted to build, they were already building cities, and they wanted to build a tower that reaches to the heavens, so that if a flood came again, that, they would survive the flood. If the earth got destroyed by flood again, they would survive. So, so they want to build this tower that reached to the heavens. And now you have to understand, even though I'm telling you the colors of these people, the Bible never, ever, it doesn't support racism, or it doesn't put one race above the other. It never does that. So when the Bible talks to people, it talks to their spirit, not their color. So race was not even started until about 1779 by a guy named Mr. Blumenbeck, who was the first man to classify races in 5 different categories. One was the Caucasian, the Mongolian, the Ethiopian, the American Indian, and the Malayan. So he classified and divided races up in 5 different categories. That's where actually race started from. So anyway, at this time, the whole earth had one race, and they began to build this tower, and God had to come down and see what they were doing. So God came down and seen this tower, and he said, if as one people they have begun to do this, speaking as one people, speaking one language, they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them. Nothing they plan to do. So God confused their language because he didn't want them settling in one area. He wanted them to scatter all over the earth. So even today, Africa has over 2,000 languages just in Africa, with only 1/7 of the world's population. And that's a lot of languages. And compared to a place like, Europe has 300 languages, which I think they have like a 17th or 18th of the world population. They have way more people with way less languages. And Africa has way less languages, way less people with way more languages. So, I mean, they speak, all kind of languages. So, but the point is, they were on one accord, speaking the same language, acting as one people. And the point is, if we agreed upon something, there's nothing that we couldn't do. Even if black, white, brown, it doesn't matter what color you are. The purpose was, if you are on one accord, there's nothing that can stop you. If we made a choice to stop killing each other, if we made a choice to stop calling each other racial, derogatory slogans, if we made a choice to stop not one more person, black person kill another black person, not one more white person kill another white person, not one more police officer kill an unarmed black person or white person. It doesn't matter. If we made a choice, see, that's where the Bible comes in, because education can help our minds, but the gospel helps our heart. So if we just came together and decided as one people to do one thing, there's nothing that could actually be impossible for us, for you, for your family, or anybody else. This is just an ordinary principle with extraordinary results.